Well, we just watched some movie trailers, and I'd say they were really well done. I'd say they were pretty well done in a lot of ways.
I didn't have any major problems with those.
No, you have problems with the movie.
Yeah.
But not the trailer, because the trailer did its job.
Yeah.
It informed you of what was going on.
And didn't give away the whole damn movie.
Like some movies that we know. Okay, I've gone on record in the past and said that one of my favorite series out there is the How to Train Your Dragon series. Tremendously good. The How to Train Your Dragon 2 movie trailer gave away something so huge that watching the film, I thought it was going to kill the film. Thankfully, it didn't, because the movie was strong enough to hold up on its own.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need big reveals like that. I don't want to give it away, because How to Train Your Dragon 2 is such a good movie. It's on Netflix right now. Check it out. But
you all have heard my position on how cutting out 5 seconds of a Batman versus Superman trailer would have done a tremendous amount of good.
Yes. Tremendous.
5 seconds. Like 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
Maybe not even 5 seconds.
Yeah, like three at least.
Yeah, like 3 to 5 seconds. You would have saved yourself a lot of trouble.
Yes.
So we've got something queued up here from our good buddy Doug Walker,
the Nostalgia Critic. Yes. He does these editorials every other week.
We didn't practice that.
No, we didn't. It just happened. He does these videos every other week, little editorials talking about different things, like The Mask, or like different things. Here he talks about movie trailers and how it's in this one he talks how right are movie trailers. So, given the hot topic of some movie trailers out there right now, I think we should watch this and hear what Doug has to say, and weigh our options and everything, see what we got.
Yeah, see if our opinions line up.
All right, so here we go.
Let's see what he's got.
Still a good intro.
It is.
Hello, I'm a Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. Anyone who knows me knows I love trailers, and how can't you? They're supposed to be everything that's amazing about the movie in 2 minutes. With fast editing, clever scene choices, and music that's almost never actually in the film, the trailer can sometimes be better than the movie itself. I bring this up because 2 very big trailers with very different reactions came out recently. One being Captain America Civil War with the reveal of Spider-Man, and the other being Ghostbusters with the reveal of some really lame jokes. You can guess which trailer had which reaction.
Yeah.
But this does bring up a good question. How right are the trailers? Don't get me wrong, Ghostbusters Rebootquel could suck and Civil War could be amazing, but we live in a world now where we do our reactions just based on the trailers.
No!
Hell, this is technically a video on the videos on the reaction to the trailers.
Yep.
Yes.
We become so obsessed with media and film that sometimes there's even a trailer for the trailer. It's kind of weird.
True.
Maybe our love for how cool trailers are is growing,
Star Trek
or
Beyond.
maybe we're just so excited to judge something as soon as it comes out. Technically, before it comes out. It's no secret we all really like doing this, but why? It's clearly not the movie, it's just an advertisement for it, so why do we get so sucked into them? Is it because it's fun? Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right.
Here's the thing. Everybody knows trailers are supposed to be manipulative, so it's interesting to see how well we figure out just from 2 minutes if an entire hour and a half plus film is going to be good. It tests how keen we are at spotting an obvious trick or locating a beneficial product. How cool is it to get hyped up for the Dark Knight trailer and have it fulfill your expectations? Or twiddle your fingers at how little they show of the Return of the King trailer because you know they're keeping all the awesomeness a secret. It's also fun to look at something like Gem and laugh at how obviously off they are at capturing the original source material. Sometimes good movies and bad movies are pretty easy to spot. But the fact is, not every good film has a good trailer, and not every bad film has a bad trailer.
Yeah.
Some of the worst movies have phenomenal trailers. Remember the suck-ass Mario Brothers movie? The teaser is incredible. No, I'm not talking about that shitty I Got the Power one. That was the first sign something was wrong. I'm talking about the This Ain't No Game trailer that made it look like Batman meets Total Recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the rock? The plumbers took it. Plumbers.
It didn't look like the game, but it looked pretty badass.
Yeah.
But as we all know, it didn't turn out to be quite that.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
How about Cats and Dogs, which I recently reviewed? The trailer looked kind of funny. Maybe this could be a cute idea, but as we all know, it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah.
Son of my mom.
The same thing can be said for movies that look really bad, but were actually kind of good. Pixar has a long line of trailers that usually look awful. A lot of people thought Toy Story was going to be a huge bomb based on its advertising. But lo and behold, it set the standard for most animated films nowadays.
Yep.
The teaser to Frozen was so bad and so misleading that Americans were actually watching the Japanese trailer because it looked more awesome. And now today, that's much closer to how the film is marketed. The importance of trailers now has never been so strong.
This is true.
You naturally want people to be talking positive about your movie,
trailer.
but sometimes even bad talk, if it's the right bad talk, is a good thing. Every time a new Transformer trailer is released, everybody rolls their eyes and complains about it. But it also racks up the views, causing more people to talk about it, encouraging more people to check it out.
Yes.
The new Ghostbusters, for example, is probably going to be a hit because, well, as much as some of you don't want to see it, you're just so damn angry you have to see it to see how it compares to the original. What do the changes they make say about how they're treating something you love? Are you open to the change, or do you feel they should leave good enough alone? But then some bad talk, not surprisingly, can hurt a film too. The backlash on the choices of the last Ninja Turtles movie were so great that they actually changed the casting of some of the characters around.
Yeah.
Oh, and didn't you hear? That's Lex Jr. in the new Batman Superman movie. Just like it always was, right?
Yeah.
And even the new Star Trek
doing to
trailer got
Suicide
star and
Squad.
writer Simon Pegg to come out publicly and say, "This isn't the movie I wrote." The ads featured a more rock band action stunt flick than Star Trek of Ideas, but Pegg assures everyone that that was marketing's choice. He guarantees them the film is much different. In fact, trailers can be so manipulative that some have even been recut for humorous purposes.
Yes.
Two of the most popular ones are
Are
Shining
Shining.
and Scary Mary. Two movies seemingly switching tones, as Shining is recut as a feel-good romance about embracing life, and Mary Poppins is recut as a supernatural horror film. The great thing about both of them is, technically, neither one lies. Shining is about a writer who's trying to get away and has trouble connecting with his family.
He's a writer looking for inspiration.
Lots of ideas. No good ones.
Mary Poppins is about a strict nanny with shocking superpowers.
Yep.
We all
Nanny
laugh at this
McPhee?
because we know
No.
through clever manipulation, something we're all familiar with can suddenly be transformed. But that again shows how misleading trailers can be, and how even though they're a lot of fun to analyze and get excited for, they're not always right. Keep in mind, half the time when these trailers are released, the movies aren't even done yet, and they're just given random scenes that they're supposed to turn into something incredible.
Yeah.
If you ever see a scene in a trailer that seemed out of place, it's usually because it's one of the only scenes available, and they weren't given much time to figure out how to make it look cool. I find a good way to figure out whether a film is going to be good is look at the scenes in context of how it would fit the film. People were shocked at how bad Batman and Robin was when it came out, but if you look at the trailer and think of it in context of how these lines and visuals would fit the film, the warning signs were all there.
Yeah.
Come join me. My garden needs tending.
She loves me and not you, and it's driving you crazy.
This is why Superman works alone.
How could you make any of this work in a serious Batman movie? You couldn't. Something like the trailer to Iron Man looks good though because the setup is strong. An egotist genius stripped of everything, forced to find his humanity again, and with great effects and humor. It's a juicy story that opens up a lot of conflict and development. Even with new films, though you can't guarantee always being right, you can kinda utilize this too. Spider-Man in Civil War seems like a good idea, but we know it's not about him. And on top of that, it's a different Spider-Man from what we saw before. This means they probably won't have as much of him in the film as you think, despite them ending the trailer with him. And even if they did, they wouldn't have enough time to establish him to a point where you'd want to be rooting for him. Chances are this is probably a slightly longer cameo in a movie and won't have a starring role. Nevertheless, that's what everybody is talking about the most and are excited for the most. Even that lame-looking Ghostbuster trailer does have some potential when you really think about it. The character lineup of the nerd, the squeamish, the wild card, and the badass could actually create some good comedy. Those gadgets are kinda neat, like being allowed to punch a ghost or blast them with handguns. And as fake as the ghosts themselves look, they do kind of seem creative. Almost like the Ghostbuster cartoon or toys. Maybe it'll be something so new it'll work, or maybe it'll be something so lame that nobody can get on board for it. Seeing how trailers have so often not given us what they promise they're going to give us, we can never know for sure. We can't act like we can predict from the start whether or not we're going to like a movie. Everyone has had a surprise they didn't think they would like. Yes. Everyone has had a film they disagree with critics on. And everyone has had a film where you come out saying, wow, that's not at all what I thought I was going to get from the trailer. Now that doesn't mean don't analyze trailers or see what makes a good one or a bad one. Assumptions aren't always as bad as everybody thinks. They help us make rational guesses and spend our time well, as long as we realize they are just assumptions and not facts. There's lots of good trailers to bad films I love watching to get my blood pumping, even though I know the film isn't good. Yeah. And there's lots of films I adore with all my heart, despite the fact that they were marketed falsely. Trailers are fun to watch, fun to analyze, and fun to speculate over. We need to know though we won't always be right, and there's no foolproof way to tell what we're going to like and what we won't.
This is true.
I thought I would hate films like Kung Fu Panda, Toy Story, or Cabin in the Woods, but I ended up loving them. I thought I would love films like Man of Steel, Wolverine X-Men Origins, or Signs, but they sucked hard. Maybe you had the exact opposite thoughts of me, and you thought these trailers perfectly summed up the movie. Whatever your thoughts, they are exactly that. Thoughts. They're opinions on things that aren't factual, and that's what's gonna make them so great. Everybody has a different one, so everybody has something new to offer. So keep talking about your trailers. Try to figure out if you think they'll be good or bad. But just remember, if people laughed from embarrassment at the first Star Wars trailer when that came out, I think it's safe to say just about anything is possible.
Yeah.
Except this, your thoughts were right about that. I'm a nostalgia critic guy, remember? So you don't have to.
Okay, so Doug made some really good points. Okay, two of my favorite movie reviewers out there, Doug Walker's one of them. The other one is Chris Stuckman. Mm-hmm. Both of them actually are partners on Channel Awesome, where Doug's the owner and Chris is one of the bigger reviewers on there.
Yep.
They both have polar opposite ideals about Signs. Doug Walker sees Signs as one of the dumbest films ever, whereas Chris Stuckman sees it as one of the best suspense films ever as well. Or I mean, honestly, I saw Signs. I liked Signs. I liked a lot of the things about it. There were some things that were hokey and did take a little bit of the immersion away, but overall, I felt like it was a very neatly packaged film. That's me though.
Yeah, I didn't particularly care for it. But I mean, there was some stuff there that was all right, but overall, I didn't think it was terribly good.
Well, I liked Signs a lot, and I looked at both people's reviews of it. Doug really hasn't done a review for Signs. Well, he did a review for Signs, and for what he what he talked about, I agreed with to some extent. But then I watched Chris Stuckman do his review on it and how in depth he went into how the film was. I saw more from the point of view of Chris Stuckman because because the way Chris portrayed it, how he saw it and everything was awesome. And I know that you and Chris Stuckman wouldn't agree on some films because you know what another one of his favorite films is?
Oh no.
Cloverfield.
Oh.
He loves Cloverfield, and I liked it too. But you see, this just personifies the varying tastes of film.
Yeah.
And it's just like some people see some movie trailers and they think, oh my gosh, this is going to be awesome. Whereas other people see it and they're like, this is going to frickin' suck. And
we had one of those earlier.
yes, we did. And me, I don't get me wrong. I don't think the film's going to be awesome.
That was a meaty video, I tell you what.
The movie is Sausage Party.
I was trying not to give it away as pointedly as that,
Yeah. So
okay,
but this will probably be released before we release this one.
That's fair.
Okay. So
Yeah.
guys, Sausage Party, we had varying opinions on.
And after we stopped recording that, I looked at Nate. I'm like, that's probably the first video where we have like strongly disagreed with each other.
Yeah. And you see, we disagree and everything, but we laugh. And I accept that other people have opinions out there, guys. That's one thing. That's just like, everyone is so like, it's like their nerves are like on the surface of their skin. It's like anytime someone throws a harsh comment at you, it's like a paper cut, and it catches you on one of those nerves. Now, don't get me wrong, when it's a constant barrage, which we dealt with at certain points during our channel's history, but overall, the people that comment on our videos, they're either commenting saying that they want us to watch this, or they're commenting to say how much they appreciate our opinions and value what we have to say. And you're never going to please everybody. Yeah. And that's the point of humanity. The point of humanity is to live your life best according to you, as long as you don't impede on the lives of others, such as, you don't cause harm to that person, you don't steal from that person, you don't do anything like that. What we're doing here makes us open to critiquing, because hey, we're on YouTube and people can watch us for free. I mean, yeah, that's a given. And with some movie trailers, people dissect trailers now because they're able to.
And the thing is, companies are now putting in things just for those people.
Yes. And that's smart, because you see they're putting together good trailers that the general audience can get behind, but then that multi-layered stuff
creates rewatchability.
Yeah, it creates rewatchability. Thus people come back, watch it again. Mm-hmm. Thus people dissect it more. And then when people see the dissection in another video, they're like, that's not really in there. And they go watch the original again.
Yep.
And then they watch the original again. It's like, oh my gosh, it is there. Yep. What else is there? And then they dissect it themselves. And that's what's needed. That's the beauty of the internet. You see, that's what creates multiple viewings. Mm-hmm. That's just like Deadpool. I watched Deadpool 3 times.
And each time you noticed something new, didn't you?
Yes. And also, I watched this. I've seen this now, Star Wars The Force Awakens, 5 times. I've seen it each once with I saw it. The first time was at midnight. Mm-hmm. I went and watched it at midnight when it released. I came back again and watched it with my mom. I came back and watched it again with my dad, and then I watched it again with a lady friend.
All right.
And then the 5th time, I watched it here at home on my 4K TV, which was awesome.
Yep.
And another film I've watched multiple times is Mad Max, Fury Road.
Oh, there's so much in there.
Yes, there is. And that's George Miller. George Miller is another director who for years and years and years has done multi-layered stuff. And people have only been able to catch it now because people are actually able to go back and watch his films again and dissect it more because of technology.
Yep.
And you see he's doing it now, and people are discovering more and more how brilliant of a filmmaker he is. And I hope that the next Mad Max movie is just a huge hit, and they pretty much give him free reign to do whatever he wants in the Mad Max universe. Because Fury Road, as good as a film as it was, did not do as good at the box office as they predicted it would. And that makes me mad, because to me it was one of the best films of last year, if not the best film.
And
that's another thing. The trailers for those films were beautiful.
Yeah.
The very first trailer I saw was the Comic-Con trailer, and it had this reworked version of Cat Stevens' Wild World that was redone by Junkie XL, the conductor of the film, or the composer of the film.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it was tremendous. And then the next one, it had oh gosh, I forget the name of the song, but it was dun 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 da da da, and the way the film was cut, the way it was cut around that trailer was beautiful. And then it
really was.
And you see, trailers like that get you hyped. They get you pumped for the film.
Oh yeah.
And they did for me. I mean, I was so excited when the film came out, and then when I heard the reviews, I was like, is it really that good? And I watched it, and I'm like, it really is that good. And you see, trailers, when they get it right like that, trailers can enhance the film's experience tenfold sometimes, because you hype yourself up, and whenever the hype is met, holy crap.
But if the trailer hypes you up and it can't deliver,
Case in point, Batman v Superman.
Oh.
The first and third trailers are the best of those. The second trailer, if you, like Ben said, cutting out 3 to 5 seconds of footage can do wonders.
I mean,
for some trailers.
You could have saved the big reveal. I was like, all right, horror movie 101.
Yeah.
It is never scarier than when you know there's a monster and haven't seen it.
Yes.
There is nothing scarier than that. Once you reveal the monster, it goes downhill.
It does.
Case in point, Cloverfield.
Yeah, Cloverfield for me. Okay, for me, the immersion didn't go down once I saw the monster. For me, what almost killed the immersion for me, it was actually just the shaky cam.
The shaky cam was not a good choice.
Now, don't get me wrong. If they would have done like a more steady cam, camera,
something similar to Chronicle.
Yeah,
maybe?
Something similar to Chronicle, stuff like that. More steady hand on the camera instead of handheld running around. That all the time. Don't get me wrong, that creates a sense of fear and panic. And
but it also will make your moviegoers horribly ill.
Well, that's why in certain things, it's just like a lot of people talk about different shots. Like tilted shots. Like tilted shots are used to create a sense of uneasiness, of unease. Like scenes like that where the camera is moving, like it gets like throughout the whole film, it's pretty much like this when he's walking around. Now, if you'd have had to where it's pretty much still whenever he's walking around, that would have been a lot better. And the times where he's running away,
it would have
where
really
the intensity,
enhanced the sense of panic.
Yes, it would have. But instead,
not to mention having shaky cam through the whole film is way more likely to make people sick than just little bits of shaky cam here and there. They can sort of come down from it. It's okay.
Yes. It's like a roller coaster. I mean, honestly, the roller coaster ride doesn't last 90 minutes. The roller coaster and also the roller coaster has calm moments.
Yeah,
they have those calm moments where you are able to regain your sense of standing.
Even if it's just a split second, there are moments where you're not upside down or going down a huge drop where you can just be like, all right, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I say this having only ever looked at roller coasters because roller coasters scare the ever-loving pants off of me.
I've ridden every roller coaster that I've been in front of. Dude.
I am
a roller coaster
heights.
freak.
I'm afraid of that. Nope.
Okay. Hey, you see, that's another variance of opinions. And But you see, that doesn't make us hate each other. I mean, honestly, we're friends, and we discuss these things.
And the fact that we don't like different things
differences
gives us different viewpoints, which means we see different things, and we can bring them forward. But
we bring different things forward. That's just, and in terms of trailers, some trailers are really good about bringing things up, and also really good about enhancing the experience.
Yeah, and then some trailers, people's reactions will end up changing the whole movie.
Yes. Case in point, original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The one that I want to bring up is all the stuff that I've heard about them recutting Suicide Squad as a comedy.
Well,
as a more comedic film.
Well, they've had people they've actually come out and said that the original report saying make it more like Deadpool was taken grossly out of context. You see, they wanted to do. You see, they had some comedic moments in it.
I mean,
according to sources, the comedic moments were too few and far between. One thing that builds the film, I've heard, is the interaction between the different villains.
I mean, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, because the interaction between Jay Hernandez and Will Smith, the interaction of Margot Robbie and Jay Courtney, the interaction between Scott Eastwood and I forget his name now. Joel Kinnaman. Yeah. I mean, honestly, the reactions and interactions between all of them are what will make the film great, because you're seeing all these different characters. And I think what they're going to do when they're doing reshoots is they're going to shoot certain interactions between those characters and make it a little more comedic. Because I think that's what happened. Is that I think the interactions between the characters were a little too standoffish instead of camaraderie, because they're being thrown into the situation against their will, pretty much.
I mean, at the beginning, I can understand standoffish, but my big fear is that, and I've expressed this before. My big fear is that a lot of the comedy is going to come at the cost of, oh, hey, let's make jokes about mental illness with Harley Quinn, which is just.
Well, Harley Quinn's insanity, that's something else. I mean, honestly, she was tortured to the point of where she lost everything. And I get what you mean, man, about mental illness. Joking about mental illness is not cool.
Yeah.
In a lot of way, in every way. But in terms of her character, in terms of her character and the loose hingedness that her character has, it's not her mental illness that does it. It's her insanity. It's her own insanity.
Basically, it's more of a detachment from reality.
Yes, it's more
sort of what you're trying to say.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's her detachment from reality and detaching herself from the situation surrounding her and the people's attention that she gets from that. I think that's one thing, that a reason why her character is portrayed the way she is in Suicide Squad.
All right.
But that's something else.
I mean, I could go on, and you've heard me go on about this one. Anyway, but I don't know. I feel like one thing that he really could have touched on is you need to not put some of the points in the trailer. Like, some of the things in the trailers need to not show up. That's
primary story points.
Yeah,
I get
like
that.
Critical story points. And I can understand, if that's all you've got, but if those are the shots that you have, sure, okay, but I know for a fact, like Batman versus Superman, they could have just taken that out.
And it would have helped. It would have
helped.
Out,
and it would have helped immensely, because you're just like, who's the villain? I don't know.
Yeah, what's caused? Because, okay, you see the bag unzip over Zod.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden you hear this roar. I
mean, you see the weird, like, electrical discharges coming off the building.
Yeah.
If you had cut to black, right, like if you had cut out the entire bit with Doomsday, spoilers.
Yes. Well, it's not really a spoiler. It's part of the freaking trailer.
It's part of the trailer.
See, that's the thing. It's not really a spoiler when the trailer gives it away. I mean, honestly, that's something that is full access to anyone and everyone here on the internet. That's what gets me.
And that's when the trailer spoils the movie.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we watched the Doctor Strange trailer earlier.
Yes.
In no way, like, pretty well what's going to happen when you go into the Doctor Strange trailer. And the Doctor Strange trailer doesn't spoil anything.
No.
But it does.
Just cut?
It just cut.
Okay, that's good.
All right, sorry. Audio just cut.
Yeah,
out
sorry,
on
guys.
us.
Still
you
working
didn't
out the
miss
bugs with
much.
this. No,
I
Not
I
much.
happened to catch it pop up. You might want to minimize that window.
Well, yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. Okay, so like I just said this. I don't know how much audio.
Yeah,
we
okay,
lost,
go ahead.
So the Doctor Strange trailer didn't spoil anything, but it got you hyped, even with what you knew.
Yes.
If I hadn't known, like, I might have been more hype about Batman versus Superman had I not known about Doomsday.
Yes. Oh boy.
Like, and I was decently hyped for that movie. I didn't see it when it first came out because I wasn't around with you guys.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, yeah, I'm pretty glad I didn't see it because
you see, as you stated, if they would have just cut out the part like right after you see the electric discharge coming off of the building and cut to black, not have I take back cut out the roar, cut out everything, and instead cut out like the red glowing light coming up in front of Batman and him looking up and going, and then
like that would have been okay.
And then all of a sudden you see the blast radius, like the big blast radius thing, and all of a sudden you see Wonder Woman's shield. And it's just like that cut would have been perfect.
Yeah. 5 seconds.
5 seconds. 5 seconds can make or honestly, 1 second can make or break a trailer.
Yeah.
I mean that's just the fragile nature of art and media as it is. I mean, especially nowadays where everyone's so skeptical about everything nowadays. And it's born from this constant disappointment from a lot of films.
And in a lot of cases, like the fact that we're getting like trailers for trailers and we're getting 3 or 4 trailers for a movie.
Yeah.
Like if they had stopped after the first trailer for Batman versus Superman,
yeah,
that probably would have been better.
Yes. Or even cut out the second trailer altogether and do the first and third trailer.
There you go.
Because the third trailer shows that it had that awesome shot at the end where Superman tries to punch Batman
and the block, and he's just like, and it's just, and Batman's just like, yeah.
It's just like
that would have been great because all right.
So who's the real Man of Steel?
Title of the movie: Batman versus Superman. They're going to fight, and they've got to have some way to even it up, or it's just going to be dull.
Yeah, and it does not show the resolution of the fight or anything. It just shows them. It just shows them at the beginning of the fight, and it shows how even it's going to be. And
but basically, what we're getting at is, a trailer can reveal a lot.
Yes.
But if you're careful, a good trailer, fine detail can make or break a trailer.
Absolutely.
And if your trailer's good and your movie's terrible,
yeah.
you're still going to make money on it, which is a very cynical way to look at things, but that's how I've gotten in my old age.
Well, it's true. That's how Hollywood is. Hollywood doesn't care if the reviews that sometimes they do. But in most cases, most Hollywood studios do not care if the reviews are bad, as long as their ticket receipts come back and it breaks into the black.
Yeah.
That's it. That is all they care about.
Even then, even if it breaks into the black, sometimes they're like, well, we didn't make enough money on this. Looking at you, Legendary Pictures.
Yes.
Pacific Rim was a great movie. It was real good. And
then the hype train for 2 was in full swing, and then all of a sudden
and then you guys kicked Guillermo del Toro off the train.
Yeah.
And the rest of us got off at the next station.
Yeah, and it's just like, hey, Guillermo, where are you going next, bud?
Because,
that man's a genius.
Guillermo del Toro has been robbed a couple of times.
Yes.
Silent Hills, and then
Pacific
Rim 2. And I
feel bad.
I want to
for
buy
the guy.
that man a beer because he's had a rough time.
Like I said, man, if we were our own studio, we'd give him several $1 billion for him to do pretty much whatever he wants. Make his own studio. Honestly, build everything he wants from the ground up. Have him legally adopt Doug Jones. Have him legally adopt Ron Perlman. I don't know.
No, here's
do
the thing
whatever
that
he
gets
wants.
me. I remember there was a promo for Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
That was. It had the Game Grumps. It had Total Biscuit, Jesse Cox, Dodger. There was another guy whose name I can't remember.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But that promo was just so dorky. It was super. It was Power Rangers, old Power Rangers dorky.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And then at the very end, they reveal who the kaiju is, and it's Guillermo del Toro. The dude loves what he does.
Of course.
He pops off the head of the suit and goes, "It's hard work being kaiju these days." And you're just like, "That's amazing."
It's hard work being kaiju these days.
And it's just like, dude, let him do what he wants.
Yeah.
The guy knows his stuff.
Yeah, honestly, he's one of the 3. They call them the 3 amigos, the 3 tremendously talented, awesome directors that have come out of Mexico. 2 of them have had huge critical praise in the last few years. Alfonso Cuarón did Gravity, which despite its slight scientific inaccuracies,
there were problems with that movie.
Well, of course, but Neil deGrasse Tyson came in and he said that even though the scientific inaccuracies were there, overall, I'd say the film merits a 90%. And albeit in astrophysics, whenever you get one thing wrong, the whole project's a fail. But in terms of media and in terms of film and having knowing and fully knowing that this is not real, but at the same time, its scientific portrayal in a lot of ways is to the point and is scientifically accurate, albeit in some regards, it wasn't scientifically accurate in a lot of ways, but it still was a tremendous piece of filmmaking, because the portrayal of zero gravity in film, the first truly good one was 2001. A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick. That scene where he's running around the turbine, was beautiful work. Beautiful work of cinematography and a beautiful work of set design. Yep. And same thing for Gravity. Gravity was filmed like a lot of the film. The first 11 minutes of the film was filmed in one take. And it was beautiful.
Dang.
The way they had the setup and everything. Emmanuel Lubezki as well. The way he is able to set up a shot. He's Emmanuel Lubezki. That's another great Mexican filmmaker.
Yep.
He's lead cinematographer on all of these films. He's the only person ever to win an Oscar for the same category 3 years in a row.
Wow.
He won for Gravity. And then the other director, Alejandro González Iñárritu, he did Birdman. Michael Keaton. Yes,
basically Michael Keaton's life story.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
and once again, Emmanuel Lubezki was the cinematographer on that.
Is it bad that when I heard the title Birdman, I was like, they're making a Harvey Birdman movie?
That's
awesome. No,
Harvey
but
Birdman, attorney at law.
Did you get that thing I sent you? Anyway,
okay, but and then this is the last thing, and then finally the film that won Leo his Oscar, The Revenant,
which. Honestly, I'm still not sure it happened because I don't think it can happen. I mean, like, it's like dogs and cats living together.
Mass hysteria. But Emmanuel Lubezki won his third Oscar for that, and Alejandro González Iñárritu did tremendous work in that. That film, it's beautiful, and Leo rightly won that Oscar because the amount of torture he put himself through.
Yeah.
But anyway, the trailers for those films, all of them did their job stupendously.
Yeah.
Like Gravity with I think it was Audible Parts Spiegel im Spiegel playing in the background, that simple piano and seeing these beautiful sights over Earth, you know, seeing the whole curvature of the Earth and the countries and the sky beneath them and the endless black behind them, the endless void. That to me is one of the more beautiful trailers, and Arvo Part's Spiegel im Spiegel is a brilliant piece of music. And when trailers are combined like that, when trailers are made like that, it truly just personifies everything that is great about film. I mean, honestly, you could make a trailer. I mean, honestly, it's like Doug said, some trailers are better than the movies. It's true. It's just like for me, probably one of my favorite trailers of the last 10 years, but it was part of probably one of the worst films of the last 10 years, Terminator Salvation.
You know, I remember that trailer. It was pretty hype.
Well, it was the one that had the Day the Whole World Went Away by 9 Inch Nails. It was amazing, and I was going to say that trailer alone got me hyped because it was the one that said the end begins.
Ooh, yeah.
That to me was just whew.
Yep.
Holy crap! Got my heart going.
We have rambled on.
Yes, we have
for some time through audio glitches
and all sorts of problems.
And I think it's time to go.
Yeah, I think it's time to be finished. So, guys, once again, thank you for tuning in.
If you stuck around through that whole thing, props to you.
Yes.
Because wow.
Check down below for the original video to Doug Walker's channel. Show Doug Walker some love, guys. The guy is an amazing individual here on the internet, and his fights against copyright infringement and everything are legendary. So check him out, show him some love, and thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for sticking with us, and well, until next time, internet, we will see you later. Peace out.